I want to give Devin Haney and Brian Norman an Academy Award for their acting job in that hotel brawl. It was a better acting job than Canelo and Crawford did. Once again, Turkey Al Sheikh has put a great card together for November 22nd. I may not like some of his antics, but if he keeps putting these 1990 Don King cards together, I could deal with it. Now it's funny how people label you real quick on social media. You know, Shakur Stevenson had two bad performances when he was avoiding opponents, wasn't engaging. One of them was Nakatila, the other one was De Los Santos. Other than that, Shakur Stevenson is not known as a runner. Now, I do understand people's complaints. They want fighters to entertain them. They want fighters to engage. And running and being a slick boxer are two different things. Back in the 90s, we had slick boxers like James Toney and Pernell Whitaker. And they were very slick boxers that engaged. They would stay in the pocket. Their opponents could not hit them, but they would stay in range so they can counter. And that is a lost art in boxing. You know what else is a lost art and skill in boxing? Cutting off the ring. If you are a so-called elite, aggressive fighter, you should know how to cut off the ring. Julio Cesar Chavez was a master at it, but that skill has decayed over time. Now fighters are begging for small rings because they don't have the skill to cut off the ring. So it is a double-sided coin. Yes, guys, there are runners in boxing more than ever, but there's also guys that lack the skill to cut off the ring. I think tomorrow's fight between Shakur Stevenson and William Zepeda is going to be a good fight. You have William Zepeda, who's an offensive machine, throws 1,000 punches a fight. And you got a defensive wizard on the other side in Shakur Stevenson. Something has to give. It seems like Shakur Stevenson is very focused on this fight to prove people wrong. So I'm leaning towards Shakur Stevenson to win by decision. But I will say this. William Zepeda is a live dog in this fight. Shakur Stevenson has never faced an offensive machine like this. So we'll see what happens. Let's listen to Eddie Hearn for a minute.
But what you said is right. When the styles mix well, and that's down to us from the matchmaking side and His Excellency to make the right fights where you'll see the best of those fighters. And I think Shakur against Zepeda is the perfect example of that. Zepeda's going to come forward all night. Shakur's not going to be able to run around the ring, and he doesn't run around the ring anyway. He's just very smart, and he's got. And by the way, this is a dangerous, dangerous sport. So you got to think about yourself in there. You got to do your best to not get hit. But I get all angles, but I just think this is the kind of fight that Shakur is going to really show his greatness, and I think he's got lots of that.
Yeah, I agree with Eddie Hearn. I think stylistically, this has a chance to be a good fight. Now, Gervonta Davis was arrested for battery, domestic violence. Now, I don't know the story, what happened. You know, I'm sure it'll be cleared up in a couple of days. We'll see what's going on. And I don't really like digging into these guys' private lives, because it's none of my business. You know, I don't care about that. I care about the fight game. And what is Gervonta Davis doing? How long has he been in the game? Gervonta Davis has been a pro for 12 years. He turned pro at 18. And he's still doing the same stuff. I don't know what he did. I don't know if he slapped her or whatever like that. The point I'm making is, why are you still getting yourself in these situations? You are 30 years old, about to be 31 in November, and you have kids now. You are a father. What are you doing? It just seems to me like some people never grow up. And you know what, Gervonta Davis, when he gets older, he's going to regret all this. All the money he left on the table. You had a match with Jake Paul. You had a rematch with Lamont Roach, and possibly a big matchup with Shakur Stevenson if he's victorious against Zepeda. And you're leaving that all on the table for some dumb stuff. But anyway, leave your thoughts and comments below. Give me your prediction on the fight. Beezy, I'm gone.